Okay, now we are live. I forgot to turn my mic back on fully. Welcome everybody once again to NVR Live. How you doing tonight?
Good. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good, Steve. Oh, so you're hanging around just being a little sly about it, huh?
No, I just haven't turned the video on, dude. I mean, I tried to tell Cheryl where the live link was, but I think she was first time somebody was talking to her and she didn't know where it was coming from. I think she thought maybe God was visiting her or something.
Oh.
You do have a godlike voice.
No, not even close. I wish. I put people to sleep apparently, but other than that, I don't know.
But we are very happy to have a very special guest. Cheryl, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody?
Hi, I'm Cheryl Lockhart. I am the president of the West Virginia Vape Committee. I'm also a vape shop owner of Hazy Hollow Vapors in South Charleston, West Virginia. I was a smoker for 25 years, and I haven't had a cigarette in 2.5 years because of vaping.
Nice.
Oh, yes. And Steve, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Steve. I own Smiley E-Liquid. We make HFS E-Liquid, Smiley E-Liquid, Epiphany E-Liquids, and Minuteman E-Liquid. I gotta get it written down so I don't forget where I'm at. I do it in different orders every time, but I'm tired, man. My son's had me up for the past 2 nights.
Oh my goodness, brother.
Yeah, I haven't slept at all.
Brother, you're gonna kill yourself like this.
You know, bro, it's what happens when mom leaves. You know, that she doesn't really care about it, so I have to take care of it.
Oh my goodness. Well, Cheryl, you know, one of the big reasons you're here, why don't you tell everybody, we'll go ahead and hop right into it. Tell everybody about the West Virginia Vaping Committee.
We formed the West Virginia Vape Committee earlier this year before the legislative session. We were trying to reform the vape tax that we have here in West Virginia. We have lost 5 businesses because of that tax. And so we formed under the West Virginia Retailers. So we have a lobbyist who lobbies for us on a state and federal level. And we worked hard the first legislative session to try to get a bill introduced to reform that vape tax, to make it a point of sale, and to lower it. We were not able to do that. As you know, they were fighting over the budget, and so we got no movement on that bill. We have not given up. 5 other shops have, including us, Hazy Hollow, my shop, have sued the state over the vape tax. So we are pursuing other avenues to try to reform and change that tax.
Cool.
I mean, yes, we actually were going over this last week, Cheryl, and believe it or not, if you go e-liquid alone, our tax in West Virginia is higher than the 40% tax in PA.
It is. It is. Because we're doing it per milliliter. For instance, I have, a 120 ml bottle is a $9 tax. It should cost the consumer $25, but instead it costs with sales tax, and of course I have a city tax. It's like $37.50. So unfortunately, we have to pass it along, but we are paying that tax up front before it ever gets to the consumer, and that's where the shops are running into an issue.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't run into that issue as much just because I drop ship with all my companies. But,
right.
And I mean, I just pay it per bottle I sell. I just do it every month. So,
right.
You know, that's why it's not as bad on me, I'll be honest.
But it's still pretty bad, man. You pay a lot of money.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
we don't
on
pay
the average
that much
60,
in
I pay
California.
40 cents a mil. Or $4.
Ours is just ours is just an excise tax right on the wholesale cost, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not nearly as much.
Some of our tax is 90%.
How does that work?
Well, let's take for instance the less expensive 120 ml bottles might cost a shop $10, and then we have a $9 vape tax. So that tax is paid. If it sits on my shelf and I don't sell it, I have to pay the tax whether I sell it or not.
I think. Hold on a minute. I think I'm not grasping this whole thing very well. Let me get my head wrapped around this a little bit. I got too many windows open. I got to figure out what the freak I'm doing here. Just let me get some of this closed off, man. I got ads I'm making and crap, and I'm clicking on things trying to figure out where I'm supposed to be at. Okay, let's do this. Let me hold on a minute. Okay, all right. I gotta rep my shop, my local shop. Hold on. All right, the Vape Warehouse in San Bernardino, Redlands, California. Been with us since they opened both locations. Anyway, so let's just say you get one of these bottles right here. Mm-hmm. Okay. My price is for this for like 0 to 49 bottles is like $14.20, I think, right? That's what I sell to the shops for. Mm-hmm. So you're telling me that it would be $23.20 for that bottle for
yes.
You have to pay $9 on top of $14.20?
Yes.
Okay, so why wouldn't we, for instance, say no, that's not what we're going to do. I'm going to make that price. I'm going to take care of some of that for you. So I drop my price by $4, $4.50, $4, and you know we just work out a you know why don't they creatively? I'm not suggesting that you and I mean,
well,
our liquid talking about it, but I mean, why don't as a distributor? Because you know in California I have to be a manufacturer, and then the manufacturer has to sell to a distributor, and the distributor can sell to the buyers, right? And a retailer can sell to a final consumer, right? So I have all 4 licenses. I could bring things into California as an importer. I can create things in California as a manufacturer. I can distribute to buyers, and then I can sell to buyers as a retailer, right? So I make my juice here in California. I don't have to pay any of that, right? Because if I'm sending it out of state, my Board of Equalization doesn't require me to pay the excise tax, which is going to be like, you know, 70% approximately on the manufacturing cost. Now I keep my manufacturing costs very low, which is why my overall prices at the 30, 60, 120 are fairly low, because I don't have a co-packer. I have my own lab. I've been doing this since 2014. It's kind of been a pain in the butt because we suddenly expanded to, you know, like 4 times the amount of stuff I had as of August 8th last year. So that's been brutal to keep it up, but let's just say everything's peachy keen and, you know, back in 2015, but fast forward to now, right? So I have this much stuff and everything's great, plenty of stock and all that. Why wouldn't I, if I wanted to just kill West Virginia, as in like, you know, get my stuff in West Virginia, because I don't have a shop in West Virginia right now. You know, a brick and mortar shop.
I told you, Cheryl.
So why wouldn't I say to you, hey, well, that's no shit. Like, this is how I would do it. I'm always looking for the deal, right? So I'm always looking for a way to make it for the shop owners, because my personal feeling, since we got into this, started thinking about it 2013, is without you guys, the shops, there's no reason for me, because a final end consumer can make his own stuff, right? They don't need me to produce a commercial e-liquid. That's ridiculous. You need me because you want a shit pile of them, and you want them at a reasonable price, which we will end up having to do, and my price will be closer to where it will go down to than what people are always shocked at what my prices are, in the first tier. But it's because I know how it's going to go, right? The margins are going to have to get cut, because you're not going to buy anything. There's no way in hell you're going to spend $18 or $15 for a 60 and then have to pay $4.50 on top of that. You can get bent, right? Because no one's going to buy it from, right?
Actually, my companies have worked with us, and if we have a price point at $24.70, which that includes sales tax and a city tax, my customers are pretty happy with the 60 mil at $24.70.
Holy Lord. Well, I wouldn't be.
But that was because of the vape tax. It's got to be paid.
Yeah, but check it out. It's $4.50, right? On the 60 mil, right?
It is $4.50.
Right. So if it's $4.50 on the 60 mil, what's the city tax on it?
Well, the city tax is a sales tax.
Okay, so it's like 5%, 6%, 10%.
So by the time you add sales tax and the city tax, you're looking at $24.70.
What's the city tax? 7%, 8%, 10%?
Wait a minute. Yeah. 25.70. I'm sorry.
Okay, but see, it would seem to me that we could say, like, okay, I can get you that 60 and pay some of your.
Is this a sales call?
No. I'm just thinking, like, how
samples.
I'm thinking that people
I'll have a tasting party.
I'll send you samples. I have no problem with that. But I'm for people that are watching this, and have friends in the industry. This is how I'm thinking that we should help West Virginia, right? From internally, right? Instead of sitting there going, "Oh, that sucks. Let's write the legislation, the legislators." And when no one gives a flying flip in the West Virginia House, what a guy in Southern California thinks, we're weird over here, and I know we are, and I hate the state.
No, West Virginia is weird.
No. You guys just have one eye and stuff, and your faces, a little, like, your eyes are kind of weird, got like elbows coming out of your shoulders and stuff. Anyway, just the mother fathers, Anyway, the point being is, why wouldn't we say something like, okay, I'll take $2.25 of that tax, right? So, because I already have a markup, right? I know, and if I don't give you the deal, like if I never give you tier 5, no matter how much you buy, and you're comfortable buying my tier 1 price, which is very competitive. I know what my competitors sell, right? So if I can make a 60 mil, let's just say for easy math, I can make a 60 mil, and this is way higher than it is. $10, right? $10 is what I sell that tier 1 for. Okay.
Okay.
And I'm comfortable saying, okay, I'm comfortable at really making $7.75. So $7.75 goes to me. $2.25 is kind of credited to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm marking 8. I'm marking 10 on the bill, right? You're paying me $7.75, and I'm paying you West Virginia excise tax of $2.25 on that bottle, right? So that money never, that money is just kind of a fake. That's just a paper trail showing that I recognize that you were paying, but I was paying you back, so it never came out of your bank account. That would cut your price to a flat $10, right? Because I would really be charging you $7.75, and you understand?
Yes.
And then you pay the $10 tax on the $10. Let's say it's 10%, so that'd be $11. And if you doubled it, you could double it $20 per. It'd be $1 shy tax. Who cares about that, right? You could be at $19 or $18.99, and it's $1.80, you know, $1.80 tax, it'd be like just about $20. To me, that's what I think we have to do as people that serve you, because my guy, Smiley, serves the brick and mortar and, you know, online retailers, stuff like that, way before we worry about the individual. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you had a customer and you said, "Hey, Steve, I didn't order the, you know, flim flam wing lamb happy go lucky cherry jubilee on a Rice Krispie treat Fruit Loop thing from you, and somebody wants that," great. I mean, I don't have an MOQ, so if you said, "Hey, I'm just gonna try your stuff and let some people try it. If one person wants one bottle, can I get it?" Yeah, you can get it in 3 days. You know, you just, you know, I'd sell it to you at the wholesale, one bottle, and, you know, you'd sell whatever you got to do. Shops don't like to do that because they want to have a selection when people walk in, you know, because you want to get them right then and there. You don't want them to get time to think about it. You know, obviously the buyer's psychology, right? You're not an online shop. That's what you want to do. Now, if you had an online store and you want to drop ship my stuff, that's no problem too. You get it listed online and you have to have it in yourself. But at the end of the day, I would think everybody's trying to help out this West Virginia thing, especially with fair cost involvement. I would think that because you have fair cloth and because you guys from West Virginia seem to be fairly into this, you know, much more than say like Pennsylvania, like the big guy quits. You know, how the hell does that happen? Like Fat Daddy, Fat Caddy, whatever that guy's name was, he quit before it even got thick. That showed some weakness.
Sorry.
Because I'm not quitting. If I'm not quitting and I'm going broke doing this, you know, making a nickel a day if I'm lucky.
I will tell you this. You know, the vape committee is one aspect because what we want to do is educate the public. Okay.
And that's good.
And we are working on educating our legislators, and we have had some good discussions. But the other aspect is 5 of us in that committee, and this is separate, have filed a lawsuit against the state. The state has come out swinging, and we keep carrying on fundraisers because it's a lot of money. And for 5 of us to carry that, we have.
But that's different than Larry's, right? That's not the same as Larry's?
Right. This is on a state level. Larry's is against the FDA.
Oh, you're talking about West Virginia all by itself, right? Okay, I'm sorry.
5 shops has filed a suit against the state over the vape tax.
All right.
But our lawsuit will help Larry's if we can win. And so both of them are important. Of course, Larry's is, you know, the FDA. If we can defeat that, that would just be awesome. Because we're really
about how do you feel? Like, I mean, I know you're going to say on air, good, you know. I mean, obviously you have, but I can read between the lines if I look at your face. How do you feel about the chances of making it happen?
I'm hopeful. You can never lose hope.
I got you.
If we lose hope, then why be in the business?
Y'all said enough. That's good because, you know, I don't want to get people mad at you or anything like that. I got you. You're hopeful. I'm hopeful too. I mean, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that
I'm hopeful on both levels. I think we have a good chance with the state fighting the tax. I think Larry has a good chance with what he's trying to do. We've supported him since day one. He's awesome.
Yep, I believe he is. I'm with those guys from Convicted and all that. I mean, I think Larry's righteous, and I guess we're having a big online cloud comp, and I donate a bunch, or I've signed up to donate, so they're going to tell me when I got to send it or whatever I got to do. But yeah, I mean, I'm super pro. I'm super pro vape shop, and kind of don't even like. You know, I've had to sell online or sell to people that approach me online simply because I didn't have for a long time an online retailer, and people, you know, they meet me, they get to know me, whatever they want to try, they want to buy it, whatever they want to support, and so I have to kind of. But I would rather, you know, like every state have at least one shop. I could say, oh, you're in West Virginia, why don't you just call Cheryl up, you know, she's got some place south Charleston or whatever.
Send us some samples and let us check it out.
No. I'm just saying anyone. I'm like, so, you know, Joe Schmo, you know, Freedom Vapes in Ohio or some shit. Like, it doesn't matter to me, you know. Anyway,
we have a bunch of shops, and you know, I
have 2 guys in West Virginia on my team, and you know they like it, but you know, we're regional, like we're popular regionally, and regionally tastes change. So you know, you might think it's you might think it's sweetened cat piss. I don't know.
Well, you know, every shop is different. A lot of my customers want strawberry cheesecake sweet.
Yeah, we want the customers that are just quitting vaping. They can't taste the cheesecake. We want the guy that can taste strawberry.
Right.
Like the Smiley line is single flavors, you know, vanilla. Vanilla.
Steve, why don't we talk about this after the show tonight? That way we can get on West Virginia.
Do whatever we want, man. I'll talk. I'll listen.
I didn't want to interrupt, but you know, we do need to get focused because it is already 22 minutes in.
What are we talking about?
Now, Cheryl, I know you were talking about the fundraiser. I did want you to talk about that tonight while we're on.
Okay.
Fundraiser. All right.
So what we're doing right now, Vandalia Mist is a liquid manufacturer here in West Virginia. They are an AMSA approved lab, and they have a really nice place. They have set one liquid, which is their cookie crumble cheesecake. And so for every bottle of that purchase, they are donating $3 to the vape tax lawsuit. I am carrying that at Hazy Hollow, and we are going to add $2 to that per bottle. And so right now, I think we have 6 or 8 shops that have brought that liquid in, and they're working. Vandalia Mist is working on their website, and it will be available to the general public. So everybody that buys that one flavor is actually donating $3 to our lawsuit.
I don't even mark up my price. I don't even mark my juice up that much. How could I give $2? I mean, that sounds like a great deal, but I don't. My markup isn't enough to give $2 on the 60s. It isn't.
But I will tell you, Cheryl, I made this decision after we had talked and everything. At the end of this month is the end of the EVCA donation. Starting next month, my dollar donation for the next 2 months is going to you guys.
Do you have a GoFundMe account?
We appreciate that so much. We did have a GoFundMe account, but we have kind of felt that this is an industry, and you know,
I would just put a link. I would just put a link on my website
and saying we need money. So we've done Rock the Vape. We had a music fest. We've had cloud competitions. Vandalia Mist is in the lawsuit with us, as I stated, and they are helping out now by selling this liquid and donating $3 a bottle.
If you had a link though that I could, if you had a GoFundMe, like I could put it on my website in place of like the EVCA one, because that movement seems like it's kind of slowed down.
I will talk to our group and see if they would like to do that. I did take hours down. We did that in the beginning. We did have to come up with a very large retainer for our lawyer. We were able to do that, obviously, and we've had to make him several payments since.
Yeah, I'm sure it's kind of been very trying, you know. I mean, you're sitting there trying to save your ass, at the same time wondering if you're going to make enough to pay your, you know, like, you know, you got the bills to pay, so you're out there trying to grind, and if people don't come to the shop, what the fuck you do? You know what I mean?
Well, you know, it's another difficult thing because most websites don't have to charge the vape tax, and so we're competing with that. That's an issue.
What websites don't have to charge the vape tax?
Well,
Any
if
that
you
are
get
not
online
based
to buy
in West Virginia.
you're not paying the West Virginia vape tax when you buy it online.
Actually,
So
you do have to pay it if it's a West Virginia-based online store. That's the key. If, like mine is a West Virginia-based online store, so I have to pay it. But like Vapor DNA doesn't have to pay it. Or
well, when I send, but no. When I send the liquid to, say Cheryl's customers say, okay, I'm going to try that stuff that crazy man was mentioning. So they go to me. They don't go to you, Rob. They go to me.
Right.
They find my back page and they log in. When I record that in my sales at the end of the month, it asks me what state they're in, right? What jurisdiction they say. So I say West Virginia, right? Well, my state's going to call their their state and say, hey, this was cracking. I hope that dude's signing up. I hope that dude's paying the tax he needs to pay.
The way it's written on the actual retailers licensed in West Virginia. That's the bad part.
No shit, that's a horrible rule.
Well, it's not necessarily written that way.
But that's the way they're interpreting it. I'll say it that way.
It was written for wholesalers, but it states that if the wholesaler is not licensed in West Virginia, then it is the retailer's responsibility to pay the tax.
Yeah.
So there is kind of a loophole there.
That's some bullshit.
And I should have not even said that public.
I would be talking to some legislators and saying, what the hell?
Guy, we have talked.
No, I mean, that's like, that's when you got to just get the guy and say, look, quit drinking the moonshine, dude. Seriously? Like, what are you doing?
Many of them agree with us. But to get a change, and this is where the problem is, if people don't stand up, if they're not advocates for vaping before it happens,
it doesn't matter.
To get it changed is hard. It's almost impossible, and you have to. It could take years. This could take years for us to change it, and that's why some of us banded together for this lawsuit. Because if they won't listen to us when we try to make a change and work with them, then maybe we need the law to try to stand on our side.
I see.
Yeah, and that's why the lawsuit's so important, because, I had heard about the 5 Vape Shop lawsuit, and then I'm actually surprised that Jacob's not in chat, because he knew that we were going to be on.
I would be breaking those guys off, though. I would be going to their farms, because you guys got like a part-time legislative body or some crap. I'd be rolling up on them as bus drivers and shit, and I'd be like, listen, Jack, check this out. You're like taking me down, and I'm paying I employ people in this freaking god-awful state that nobody can live in, so can't make no money. Nobody can get a job in this freaking state, and I'm paying people to come in and clean my shit when I could do it myself just to keep people from doing Oxy. We got a problem here in West Virginia with that. And you're making it easier for some asshole in Ohio to take my shit away.
Yeah.
I'm about ready to tell you guys to let me tell you how this is going to work. V for Vendetta, when Guy Fawkes did when he burnt down Parliament. Check this out. Be careful when you go to work.
I feel that way, but in politics, you have to be nice and you have to be friendly.
I know all about it.
Or you can't get anything done.
This gray beard didn't come from. This gray beard ain't a newbie beard. I know all about it. I'm a biker, so I know all about all the rules and all the bullshit, and I'm skilled at it, and been targeted due to my ways I've dressed in the past. So I understand, but I'm still telling you that is unbelievable. That some elected officials in a state that is broke like Mississippi broke,
we're not that broke. The question is, where is the money?
No, pretty broke.
Yeah.
It's like one of the worst states to live in the nation. And
well, in some ways, but West Virginia is
49.
State. And I'll tell you this: I've been working on some things in other states, and the people in West Virginia are just nice.
Well, that's what we're talking about, right?
And they're helpful, and so you can't just say.
No, they're absolutely not. This guy.
Some of the things that happen are the pits, and there are some things that really need fixed, but it's not all completely bad.
Now, Cheryl.
No, every state's got their shitty and all that, but as far as employment and things like this, your state isn't that good.
Here's an idea for you, Cheryl, for a fundraiser, because Jennifer and I were actually talking about it. It's Nate's wife. We've been talking a lot over Facebook, but an idea, we weren't talking about this as a fundraiser, but it just came to my mind, is maybe looking into finding a place, maybe use the Moose that you guys used for the concert, if it wasn't that expensive, and maybe do a vape meet, bringing in a bunch of retailers. Do it just like a convention.
We did a small version of that last year. It was successful, but that was before we got the vape committee. That was when Safada came in, and we were trying to fight the vape.
But that would be a good way to raise money. You charge the fee, and whatever is raised by the fee that's over whatever profit, have the committee run it, whatever profit.
And why don't we do something a
automatically
little bit
throw
less,
it
well,
straight
on a little bit
toward.
lighter scale? Why don't we just have like a, like I've offered, right? Why don't we do a Billion Lives viewing, right? Get the shops that want to do it, you know, like a movie screen, right? Doesn't have to be like a huge movie screen, just needs to be the size of one of their walls, right? Even if we've got to rent the TV, rent the screen, whatever. And put the movie night on, and, you know, I could probably afford that, right? For anybody that wanted to do it. Get like, you know, I don't know how many people you think are going to want pizza that night, 10 hot and ready.
I think if you include alcohol, that might be successful in West Virginia.
Well, I think Ohms Anonymous, I think he's the guy that said he's got great moonshine. So I think y'all in West Virginia have that dialed in better than any of us anywhere else. That's probably one of the good things you're good at. So why don't you do that? Give him a lump of coal, and I got a guy on my team that mines over there in western West Virginia, and why don't you guys do that? And then you charge, like, you know, $5 instead of $25 to go see it in the movie theater. And, you know, it's a social, and it's a fundraiser thing, and get some donors, and $5 a head. And if 10 shops did it at the same night, right, and each shop had 20 people come in, even, or 10 or 50 people come in. I mean, you could, if 10 shops did it and they got 50 people that actually came in and paid $5, it wouldn't be such a bad.
Yeah,
you know,
what he's talking about is a billion lives.
I mean, 2,500 is pretty good. It's not going to pay much more than about an hour's worth of a very good, you know, law staff, but it's better than nothing. I mean, I don't know.
It's a thought. It's a thought. We did do a Billion Lives premiere here in Huntington. We had an okay turnout. It was mostly shop owners. We had.
I'm saying, like, instead of having it at a movie.
I know, have it at our shops. I do have. I've actually had UFC wrestling night at my shop, and it was a fundraiser.
How'd it go?
People just came in and, you know, watched it. So.
How'd it go? Was it busy?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've told everybody, like, in the regular states, you know, if they wanted it, I'd put the pizza party on, and I'd rent the stuff, and they just had to order, you know, e-liquid, one order of e-liquid from me, and I'd blow the whole thing out for them. I'd sponsor the whole damn thing. I could do the whole nine. I'd pretty much meet them dollar for dollar what they paid in the order, you know.
Right. They have to buy a bottle of Vanilla Mist to get in. There you go.
That's a great idea.
Why would you do that? I mean, I'd be willing to do it. I'd be willing to help Vanilla Mist get the, you know, pay the cost to get the movies and whatever was necessary to put the thing on, because, I mean, without you, it doesn't matter if you end up picking me up or not. Without you, meaning your peers in the industry, I'm screwed. So it doesn't really, I mean, it doesn't matter what the legislation does, even if I can sustain, you know, beyond the bullshit, and, you know, I can outlast it and it gets repealed or whatever, and I'm still here. I still need you. And when you have these people that are already giving up, you know, like the big Pennsylvania guy that gave up, like, you know, November. Like, what the hell? You know, you quit August 7th or something. You didn't even.
Well, you have to look at expenses. It's been very difficult. We've actually lost 5 shops. And in the Finance Committee, the first legislative session here in West Virginia, they stated they had a 20% loss in revenue on the board.
I had a 90% loss in revenue last year, so I know.
So the problem is staying liquid. You know, you have to pay the vape tax, but you got to keep your inventory in, and you're jumping through hoops to keep.
What happens if
a shop is busy?
Does consignment with you?
Pardon me?
What if a manufacturer does consignment with you?
Well, I mean, that's always a possibility. I do have some places that have started invoicing me.
30 days.
Letting me invoice and giving me a little time.
Like, what is it? They're doing 30, 60, 90? What are they doing?
Well, one company will let me pay when I receive it, and I have another company that does 30 days. Yeah, most of them have helped on pricing. That's been their thing.
Yeah. All day. I mean, especially.
I
Go ahead.
I had talked to someone I know that you know, Cheryl, Justin Radford, once before about possibly renting out a convention center or something of some sort. But the thing is getting a lot of shops throughout the area together and all go in on it and try to get a big advocacy drive like they was talking about. And that was what me and him was talking about, is trying to actually get all these shops on board was the hard part. But if we had more voices and more people on it, it could probably work out, I believe.
That is what we need. Here's the issue. The issue is money. You know, we joined and we formed the West Virginia Vape Committee, but that wasn't free. We're under the West Virginia Retailers Association, so we have a yearly fee, and it's pretty good. It's pretty big. So each of us is paying a quarterly fee for that. It's not free. Okay. So then anything we want to do to reach the public, we would like to do some commercials, to do advocacy. That takes money. And then you have us that are, you know, suing the state. And then we got to keep our shops afloat and pay for our families. So all these things take money.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I have learned the old adage is true. 20% of the people do 80% of the work.
Actually, that has changed.
It
is now 90% of the people do 100% of the work.
10%.
Or I'm sorry, 10% of the people do 100% of the work.
What I'm hoping is that people will see that the committee's legitimate and we are working, and they'll want to join. And the more people that join, the stronger we are, and we can present a united front. We can work on advocacy.
So can an out-of-state guy join it?
Huh?
Can an out-of-state company join it?
Not the West Virginia Vape Committee.
Well, what the hell? How can we help you?
Help us fundraise.
All right.
Help us get the word out. Help us with advocacy. Let people know we're there.
Give me a link to put it on my site.
I will be happy to.
Because if I do it, even if you don't have like a cool logo, I'll get my logo lady to make one up, and I'll just dial it in. You know, I mean, I'll make it professional.
We're working on a lot of things. It happened very quickly that we got together, and the first thing we had to do was we spent our first 60 days in the legislative session going around at the Capitol, talking to our legislators, calling our representatives, and working under our lobbyists. Obviously, as I stated, we didn't get traction on that. And so now we formed a board, so we know whose job is what. And at this point, we're in the process of getting a website going, setting up licensing and a business account, so that we can work on, you know, I want to reach out and have education to the public. And the way that we want to do it is grassroots, whether it's at a local city festival where we have a booth where we're just passing out information and talking, different things like that.
Got it. Yep.
And that's the best way to do it, honestly, because like I told you, I'm here if you need to pick my brain no matter what. Because
I have skills with.
You have sales skills because you just want your liquid in West Virginia.
I don't care about that. I'm telling you, I don't care about that. Somebody from Ohio is going to be at one of them fundraisers. Somebody from Virginia is going to be at that fundraiser, and somebody from Maryland, and somebody. I mean, your state's so damn small; it's right there. I mean, someone, even if it doesn't get in West.
Rhode Island is smaller.
You're right. I mean, I've ridden through your state. It's beautiful, but I mean, you know, it's mountainous, and a lot of it's not inhabited really. You know, not populated very much. And I'm just saying that if you need help, like I'm serious. I tell people this all the time, and some people call me, and some people don't. And you can ask my team and everything, even when I'm not on the competition or anything like that. I have no problem helping out with the banner. You know, getting stuff done for you. I have great printing prices. I have Photoshop, Illustrator skills. I mean, all that stuff. Like I can help you. I mean, I could really say
we can certainly use any support, any help, any advice.
And I have a huge library
because we're young and we're just starting out. There's a lot of things we're working on because we're not established yet.
And I have a huge library of data.
We want to be.
I have a huge library of data. Like, you should check my library out of data. Like you can download the actual papers and like read the study itself, not just like the abstract. I have like the original research in a Dropbox folder, and
that he gives out freely.
That's one of the things that when we talked to our delegates and legislators were the scientific studies that we took with us, and actually presented and spoke with them about that. And as I said earlier, we did get a positive response, but they were fighting over the budget, and so we did not get.
Yeah, no, you were screwed because it was a way to make money for them because you're broke, right? I understand. I mean, I got it. I mean, I understand the whole bullshit thing that you can't, you know, it's like ridiculous because you can't get it. You feel like you're just taking like 4 steps back every time you try to go forward. It's just.
And that's why we need to, and everybody, it doesn't matter what state you're in, we need to educate.
That's what I'm screaming at in the barbershop.
But the problem, as I stated earlier, you know, 20%, okay, 90% of the people do 100% of the work, however we want to look at it.
Well, no, it's 90% do. Yeah,
10%.
Or 10% do 100% of the work.
Right. And it's very difficult when you're I tell my customers, I've talked to them about the FDA regulations, about what's going on, and then when they come in and say, oh, when did the vape tax come in effect? Last July of 2016.
Right, didn't even know.
Do you ever listen to me when I tell you, you know?
Right.
And see, we ran into that same issue when I lived in PA, because I moved down here February 28th from Pennsylvania. And because I was born and raised right here in Malden, Rand area. DuPont graduate, I've always bled blue and gold. And, I mean, literally, I had Roger on here when that first came out. Like I was telling you earlier, I had Sam on here. Because they were the 2 big people that were actually talking on Larry Fairclough's webpage on his Facebook. So I invited both of them over that day. Now, mind you, we didn't have the sophistication, if you can call it that, of the way everything's set up. Yeah, Dan Cloud knows me for a while. He actually said it flat out. I was born on Georges Creek is where I lived. If you know where that is.
I don't.
You know Malden?
Yes.
Okay, you know right there when you get off the Route 60 in Malden. Okay, you know how you can make a U-turn?
Yes.
If you make that U-turn, that's Georges Creek.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, flat out, I mean, now the one thing, Ohms answered this, but I do want you to answer it because Steve did ask, are the shops also involved with SFATA?
We were members of SFATA the first 2016. Some things have happened. I don't know who else renewed their membership. I did not renew my membership.
Yeah.
They have not, in my opinion, and I will publicly say this, have not
100%.
supported West Virginia. And so I felt like they didn't, I wasn't going to give them my money.
And I mean, honestly, the money should go to where, in my personal opinion, because that's why, you know, I pick and choose who my money goes to from the website. And I can't change it in the middle. I don't feel comfortable changing in the middle of something. But my money from the website that I donate goes straight to people that I know are doing some good. Not people that are just sitting around talking advocacy, but not trying to get a movement going.
I don't want to say that I think there was a theoretical fallout between us, and I just think it's West Virginia's history. You know, I think we've always stood up for what we thought was right, whether it was back in the 1900s or it's 2017. And we're not afraid to speak our mind. And so there's kind of a theoretical issue between the two about how to go about things. And then I'm for transparency. I think you need to let everybody know where the money has went. And so that's just my issue.
Okay, and I am going to touch on something that we had touched on because a couple weeks ago, we were given, in a way, misleading information just because other sites are saying it. So,
Okay.
Cheryl, I want you to go ahead and elaborate on the actual CBD issue. Since you are a shop owner in West Virginia, you've gotten involved with that legislation. You've looked at it even more. Well, because, you know, a lot of the websites are saying that CBD is illegal in West Virginia. So,
CBD that contains THC is illegal. What I carry does not have THC. It comes from industrial hemp. That is legal. That is legal in all 50 states.
Right.
It was made legal in 1938, and it is classified by the FDA as a dietary supplement. Don't ask me why.
It was outlawed in like 1950, and then it just came back around, right?
To my knowledge, it's always the CBD without THC has always been legal since 1938. That's my understanding. And we carry it, we mix it, we have our own brand in my shop. There was some confusion because the DEA came out and reclassified CBD, and so people got confused about what that meant. So CBD that does not contain THC is legal in the state of West Virginia, and West Virginia does not have any legislation pending against that at this time.
now, here's a question that I personally have. How can you tell if it is that or if it's one of the ones that make, because I've read a lot about CBD and it says there's no possible way to completely keep the THC out, but there's always possibilities of
Well, if it's from industrial hemp, it does not have THC. If it's 0.01%, that's no THC.
Yeah,
Okay.
isn't it 0.3 or 0.03 or something like that?
Pardon me?
Isn't it 0.03 or something like that? 0.3 or something?
0.3 is the law. Anything below 0.3 can be shipped.
All right.
Across state lines. Anything
All right.
over 0.3 cannot.
Yep.
Well,
That makes sense.
and Jennifer, just so you know, I am just quoting some websites that I found. So I'm not saying, you know, I'm just quoting
Are
websites.
you saying you're a French model?
But yeah, I'm just quoting websites that when I was looking at it myself, that was why I was looking at it. So now, so we know, so you have to look for anything under 0.3 in order to know that it definitely has no THC whatsoever.
Right.
Okay. That way now people know that. So
And companies, legitimate companies that make, you know, or manufacture CBD are going to tell you. If they're not legitimate, then don't buy it. You know, there's a lot of legitimate companies out there. They'll have their laboratory findings on their website or can provide that to you.
Yep.
And those are the things you need to look for.
yeah. And I mean, it's, you know, I know Stephen Taylor, he's big on that we need to stay away from CBD, but I'm going to be flat out honest. It's going to be there no matter what. And CBD, if we have to, you know, if it's going to help somebody, it's going to help them, and I support CBD. But
CBD, I was iffy about it till I brought it in the shop. And I will tell you, if you see the people that it helps, and it's legal, they're not getting high. I have a gentleman that uses it for Parkinson's disease. It helps with his tremor. I have several cancer patients that come in. I have people with anxiety and PTSD. And it's kind of nerve-wracking because, you know, we're responsible to keep it on our shelves because they need it. They use it. It makes their lives better. Even more than vape. So I support CBD, and if you see the people it helps, I use it myself to sleep at night. I've had insomnia for many, many years. And you're not getting high. You don't get the munchies. It's perfectly legal, and so I'm completely for it.
Nice.
I will vouch for CBD 100%. I have myself very bad anxiety, and I've actually got CBD in this right now, and it's 100% flavorless. At least what I get is I mix it with my own juice.
Right.
It helps me tremendously. Jennifer, Lady Ohms, that's also in the room, my better half, she has APS, and she has really, really bad tremors when she has spells. And CBD helps with her tremendously. It is one of the best things we've found to help with it.
Really?
We have a friend, her child suffers through seizures, very, very bad seizures, and would have them multiple times a day. I mean, it's a very severe case. And when she got CBD and started doing drops under the tongue for him, the very first time he went a week without seizures.
No
so
shit.
I stand by CBD 100%.
Most definitely.
No shit.
See, I look at it honestly. You know, I do worry about it
Hands
because
on the Bible, swear to God.
because when you talk about CBD, people do associate it immediately with marijuana. I'll tell you flat out, I do not support a vape industry that at a convention allows dry herb vaporizers and things like that to come into the vape shop, or to come into a vape shop / a vape convention, because that is going the wrong way. But CBD, like you said, the health benefits, you know, in a way, if we really want to look at it, it's no different than nicotine.
Well, I think it's kind of being hypocritical if you're against CBD and you vape, because look at this. You're against tobacco. Vaping is a better product. Why be against CBD? It's not addictive. You're not getting high. It's not illegal, and it's helpful, just like vape. So we're all about getting healthier, and CBD can assist with that. I actually, and I don't guess I want to go too much in discussion, but I have some people that have had addiction problems, who have anxiety. They can't take Xanax or any of that stuff because they're addicts, and so they use CBD. So I think that we need to be open-minded, just like we are with vape.
Yep, that makes sense. That makes sense, man. Like, I think, I mean, I don't know enough about it, and I've had people say I should try to do a CBD, you know, get in the CBD line, you know, because it is legal and all that business. Doesn't look like it's going to run into the same resistance, but I don't know enough about it. I don't know how it works or anything, you know. Just, it's awfully, you know, it's just, to me, it's just another SKU I got to worry about, and it's crazy, man. So.
Yeah,
don't worry about it. Take some CBD, you'll be calm.
Yeah, but Steve, I know you still considered it.
The CBD, you know, like, it's tough. It's tough.
My son just sent me a text message, and he wants me to make a clarification on the CBD.
Okay.
The 0.03 is legal. The 0.01 is no THC.
Oh, all right. Thank you, son.
Well, he runs the vape shop with me, and he's my master mixer of our CBD.
Thank you, master mixer.
And Steve, just so you know, we now have your connection.
Who's that?
They make their own CBD e-liquid.
Who does?
Cheryl.
We mix it.
They mix their own CBD e-liquid.
Send you some watermelon and tell me how you do it.
You do not understand, Cheryl. If you go back and watch our shows, he has been trying to get this for months.
I need to know how it happens, man. We talk about I got to do it, and I can't. I don't know how to do it. I don't even know what. I
can't give you our secret recipe.
No, not the recipe. Just
you can
tips on how to make the CBD and put it into a regular liquid. That's what he's getting at, because he'd use his regular recipes.
Well, our CBD Third Eye Elixir is not flavored, because people like to add it to their vape liquid and have their own flavor. We are looking at doing flavored CBD in the future. But it's kind of an art, just like making e-liquid.
Yeah.
You know, you got to get the right recipe, the right flavor, so that it tastes good, and that takes time.
Yeah.
Of course.
But, I mean, here's the whole thing. When it comes to West Virginia, we do have to support this group. I mean, flat out honest, we have to support them. I want to see you do as much as you can. I hope you use my idea about doing a convention, especially if you do it in Nitro, because I'll tell you right now, I can't speak for Steve, but I would try to be getting a credit from him in order to go ahead and come myself for the website and set up to sell all Steve's liquids. So I can tell you that I would be there to sell his liquids. So,
why not?
Because literally I could drive to Nitro every day.
Do with me, man. Whatever has to happen.
And I mean, you could probably get companies coming in to do it.
I will tell you, I mean, those are things we've talked about that takes time to plan, so it won't happen overnight. We just did Rock the Vape, May 20th.
Yep.
That was a very big event, and took a lot of work, and so it will take, you know, some time and planning to do something like that. And as I said, we've talked about it. We'd love to do that. We'd love to have a big vape convention here in West Virginia. So those are things we're looking at for the future.
That's great. I mean, really, seriously, that's bomb, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cheryl, I would definitely, I'm going to add you to my Facebook. I would love to keep in contact with any of this. I know Marta tells me a lot. Things going on, but anything I could possibly do to help. I'm just a little guy in the YouTube world, very, very tiny man. But
so am I.
any possible thing I can do, please don't hesitate to let me know. I will do anything I can do to help.
Well, I really appreciate that. We really do need the support of our vape community, because in the end, that's what we're fighting for. We're fighting for our customers' right to vape, and we're fighting for their right to vape with, without unfair taxation. We do have a West Virginia Vape Committee Facebook page, and we do post about what's going on with us and when we're having events. It is a new page. It's only been up for about, 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. And so we'll have a lot of things going forward. So if anyone would like to like that page,
I'll put it back.
I will put a link to it in the comments.
Okay,
when
awesome.
I get done with the show tonight. And actually, I will go see if I can go grab that now, if my computer will let me. Yeah, it's like
Vandalia Mist has a website where individuals can purchase Almost Heaven, which is the flavor that is being used as a fundraiser. They've had to work on their website. They had a problem with it, and I haven't heard back from Marta if it's back up and running. And we'll get that out there to the public as soon as we can. And just, if one person buys a bottle, that's $3 to our lawsuit, and we would appreciate any support with that.
Right. Yeah, that's good. Like I'll help. I'll do it.
The other thing is, we would love to have more West Virginia shops join us and be advocates in West Virginia. And so we're hoping that will grow as we continue to move forward.
Vandalia Mist site is back up. I just posted a review for them and a link to it 2 or 3 days ago, and it is back up and running now.
Oh, that's good.
And I
talked to her yesterday, but it was their e-commerce part that wasn't exactly working right.
Oh, okay.
I did post a link in the chat for anybody that wants to go over and grab your Facebook page and like it. So I'm about ready to put that in the comments as well.
Nice.
Awesome.
So it will be down in the crotch box for everybody.
Oh, good.
Thank you, JH, by the way.
But yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. And, like I told you, anytime you need anything from me, don't hesitate. to contact me. I mean, I'm just over here in Bell, so I'm not that far from you.
You're not that far from my house.
Why? Where do you live?
I'm not going to put that on the internet, but I'm in Charleston.
I know, man. The state isn't that big, man. Come on, people can find.
I mean, I'm not
Steve,
that far from.
You need to come here and go whitewater rafting.
I've been there. I like the state. It's not that big though.
It's not.
And your town isn't that big at all.
That's why I like it. If you get lost, you just keep driving and you'll find the interstate.
I understand. I used to live in Mississippi.
And we just had notification, Josh from JH Vapes, who has over 2,000 subscribers, he is going to help out as much as he can as well.
Oh, we so appreciate that. That is just awesome to hear.
He has been actually, I won something off of him this week. But he and I have been friends for years. Actually, I think he and I met when I first started vaping. So that's how, and I've been vaping for 2, maybe 3 years. I can't remember exactly. But, I mean, that's the whole thing. It's not just getting the people. It's also, we do have to reach out to some of the bigger, some of the bigger reviewers if they would jump on it. I wish we had some of the bigger reviewers from West Virginia. But we don't. And that's the sad part. But, like Steve always says, in the vape community, maybe 1% of vapors watch YouTube too.
Yeah, right. That's the thing. Like, I don't know very many people that do it all,
What we'd like to do with the committee is be a centralized location for everyone that vapes in West Virginia, to have a place to go, to have discussions and talk about issues that are going on. But again, it's getting the word out, and not everybody's on social media, and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter have algorithms. So you might post something and 5% of your followers see it. So
Yep, I know. Yep, it's a pain. It's a big pain, and there's ways around it. There's tricks, but it involves knowing how to properly advertise, and for normal people, it's about where you put your money and how you define your target. But of course, we can't do that because we don't fit the criteria for what they claim to be legitimate advertising. They don't allow us to advertise on Facebook.
right.
Yeah, it is tough. You're right. There are issues there for sure.
So that's another way you guys can help, and not just help us, but help other advocacy groups that you're supporting. If you see a post, like it, share it, because it throws it back out to the audience, and that does get to more people.
Yep. You got to do it. I'll do it. I'm on it. I'll help you. For sure.
And I mean, that's the whole thing. It's getting a lot of these companies on board. And, Steve has a lot of connections over in California. So, he can make some of his connections in California. And I can
get you some people that are even located in New Jersey that might want to help you.
Yeah, and as you know, 90% of e-liquid is made in California. In all honesty.
I know half of ours comes either from California or Texas.
That's about right.
Another thing is like with Vandalia Mist, I think we had 8 or 9 shops that ordered Almost Heaven, the flavor. So shops all over the U.S. can order the flavor and bring that flavor in, and we'll get $3 a bottle, whether it's wholesale or retail.
Oh,
yeah.
If there's a shop out there and they want Vandalia Mist, it's posted on the West Virginia Vape Committee. They can also go to the
very nice
site.
Yeah, I know. I stopped down at the Vapor Vault, the store that Justin Radford runs, just a couple days ago, and talked to him, and he's got flyers posted up everywhere, and he's got a whole shelf full of it. So
right, Justin's
it's getting
awesome.
around. Yeah.
All right.
And it's great liquid. Great liquid. I absolutely love that profile.
But,
that's cool.
Well, guys,
Use helicopters.
it's getting to 11 o'clock. I'm sure Cheryl's tired because I know she was probably at the shop all day.
I put the link, Cheryl. I think I put a link. No, not yet. I'll put a link in our internal chat for my for the NAM original research, so you can get it yourself.
Okay, awesome.
And then you can just go there. Hold on one second. Let me find it.
Yeah, there is a lot of good information in there too. I've looked at it.
I got a lot of stuff. Here it is. This one right here. Bam.
And Cheryl, next time you guys do a event, I'll actually, if you go somewhere that has Wi-Fi available, I'd actually be willing to do a live stream from the show.
Okay, awesome.
So if you go somewhere that has Wi-Fi available, I'll literally, even though it would be a lot of work for me personally, I'll break down my whole computer, my whole system, and just bring the whole thing there, because my laptop can't handle the system, but I could personally handle the system
Right.
on this computer, because I got a brand new one when I opened the business as a business expense, and that's the same one I use for YouTube. So
those are events that we're working on. Hopefully we'll get to go to a couple places this summer, and have a booth and talk advocacy with different cities. So
yeah,
as soon as we know anything and we're given the go-ahead, I would love for that to happen.
I mean, it sucks we don't have the regatta anymore, because that would have been a perfect
I know.
place.
Well, what are you talking about? Everybody be drunk and nobody remember what we said.
But
Yeah,
they
you're
still
right.
listen. I mean, that's the key word, listen.
They might take their brochures home and read them the next day.
Exactly.
Maybe.
But, I mean, and that's the whole thing. It's because even today, I had a co-worker that, you know, she knew I did a live show. So she pulled me in, and she flat out asked me, you know, I was watching your live show, you know, I'm not wanting to vape, but what is the difference between vaping and smoking? She had no idea a lot of the differences. I stood there for 20 minutes explaining to her, and mind you, she's a registered nurse.
We get that all the time. I get it everywhere I go. I was actually at Live on the Levee a couple weeks ago, and some guy walked past us while we were vaping and said, "Oh, you know, that's worse for you than cigarettes." And I'm looking at him, and I wanted to say, "Now wait a minute," but he was walking too fast, and I couldn't catch him.
Lame.
Yeah, you see, that I actually had situations happen at work that nurses will flat out say, "Oh, it's worse for you." And then you're like, well, research doesn't say that. And they're like, well, I don't want to hear about research. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, you're a healthcare professional.
Right.
Who is basing your opinion on healthcare research, yet you don't want to hear about research.
Well, it's frustrating because CAMC treats vaping the same as cigarettes.
That may not be the case in a couple months, because after I am working for a while, I plan on having an appointment with the president.
Well, it would. If you need help from the West Virginia Vape Committee, we would love to see that change.
There you go. See, we got things in motion right now.
Because I plan on that appointment, and then when I go in there, I'm going to have all the research, and, you know, I'm going to tell him flat out and be like, look, we don't expect you to say, okay, you can vape inside your rooms or anything like that. We just want you to understand the research that there's no secondhand effect. We understand one of the main reasons is probably the heat, afraid it would light oxygen, because somebody might be using on oxygen and try vaping and it catch fire from the heat, because that is a possibility. That's happened with oxygen and cigarettes in the past. That oxygen coming out of the walls has caught fire. all we want is at least, you know, recognize that
Oh, you say
e-cigarettes are
oxygen
not
out of
as
the walls
bad.
caught fire? What are you talking about?
Yeah, pure oxygen out of a tank will catch fire.
When does that happen? At a vape
That's
shop?
happened in hospitals before.
Oh, hospitals. I thought you said that happened in a vape shop in a cloud. Okay, all right. Yep. Got
No,
it.
in a hospital.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Pure
Yeah.
oxygen outside of a tank will
Yeah,
catch
absolutely.
fire.
One of the things the Vape Committee would also like to do is talk to the West Virginia Medical Association and share our scientific studies and have open discussions about vaping. If we can get the medical community on board and support vaping, that would be a huge step up.
I've almost turned the, I can't mention his name because I'm still working on him, but he has actually looked at my research that I've shown him, but I've almost turned one of the head doctors in the department that I work in. So,
Maybe helpful.
yeah.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
And
Man.
he's a cardiologist.
Nice.
Yes, that would be great.
And
Very
then
good.
I'll probably have a second doctor that I'm going to start working on after I get him turned.
Nice.
One by one.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing. We have to educate not only the people, but also the medical professionals. And I like that you guys are going to go after the medical professionals as well, because they need to understand the differences. Flat out.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and another thing you guys need to do if you're not doing it, and forgive me if you have, and I have, because I've just, started talking to you all. You need to talk about 1 Billion Lives, and you need to watch it if you haven't seen it, which I know Steve brought that up. But we had, in that documentary, they talk about how uneducated our physicians are about nicotine, because nicotine's not what causes cancer.
Right. Actually, a couple weeks ago, we had David Gerlitz on,
Yep.
which is the former Winston man that was on there.
Oh, he's awesome. He's hilarious.
Actually, we have a show down. If you look through my live streams, you'll see the show with him on it.
I'll
Because
have
we
to
had
check
him
that.
on, and then I actually did a review of 1 Billion Lives.
Well, we actually wanted to use one of his lines is the Marlboro man is dead and the Winston man vapes.
Yep.
But we can't do that in any commercial or anything because the
That's
FD.
definitely one thing we need. We definitely need more professionals in the professional field that when it comes to legislation will comfortably stand up and advocate for vaping. Not just say, yeah, it's okay, but we need professional fields that will back the vaping community, not in just West Virginia, but all states.
Right.
Oh, I agree. And, that's where I think, honestly, vapors can have the best way to educate is when they go to their doctor. Try to educate your own doctor. If they start saying something about, do you smoke? Be like, no, I don't smoke, but I vape, and here's why.
Yeah.
Explain to them, I did my research, or I've done my research.
Yeah, it's great. It's one thing to have the Faircloths and the Conleys out there pushing for it, but behind them, we also need the Dr. Smiths, the ones that's out there every day treating people. And we need more professionals to show up to these legislative hearings that will back it. It's not just one legislator or two. We need a lot more, and that's why I constantly preach on my channel and my reviews. I'm always talking about educating. And it's not just educating the common people. It's the professionals, the ones that we think know what they're doing. We need, every time I go to the doctor and they ask me, do I smoke? No, I don't. I did for almost 20 years. And I quit because of vaping. And that usually opens up a conversation. We need to educate every chance we can get, especially to professionals.
And see, Stephen Taylor, he brings up a good point. 99% of vapors were cigarette smokers, and we still know cigarette smokers, and we need to be friendly to them, and turn them on to vaping. But like I said in one of my videos where I was talking about, you know, excuse me, I forget if it was my out of control or is vaping 100% safe. I forget which video it was, but we can't preach to them. We can only talk to them and don't curse them for smoking. I mean, we have to work on them slowly. Some people can't take being slammed all the time.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
One thing, especially working with our lobbyists and having to learn how to be political, is be positive. Present the positives. Don't talk about the negatives. Don't cut that person down. Just talk about the positives and share your experience. And that's more helpful than when you know, oh, you're still smoking. You stink. You're gonna die, you know.
Oh yeah. The matter of fact, the very last time I went to the doctor about 2 weeks ago, one of the nurses had asked me about smoking, and I gave her my spiel about vaping and how it helped me. And she had talked to me, and she actually brought another nurse in out of the hallway for just a second, and she said she had tried everything to quit smoking, and asked me all about it, and I explained how it worked and how I got started, and progressively you can work your way down the whole spiel, the 9 yards. And she actually told me, she said, when I leave work today, I'm going out buying a vape rub.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's just educate, like you said, educate, educate, educate. I hate to sound like a broken record player, but it's the truth. That is where our biggest downfall is. We have not educated enough. Bottom line, I mean, we would not be in the position we are being classified a tobacco product by the FDA and everything else if we had educated well enough and people had actually listened. Yes, you'd still have those Pelosi's, Boxers, Feinsteins. You'd still have those hard against it. It's for the kids. But you'd still be able to turn a lot more people if we would have educated at a much earlier time and didn't slam it in their faces. I love him to death, but Duncan Hunter slammed it in their faces vaping right in the middle of the Congress during the hearing. That is
one thing when you are in public and you're blowing big clouds and it's going in someone's face who does not vape or never smoked. You turn them off.
Yep.
So you can think it's funny, and I know young kids, I remember being a kid, and I drove around with my stereo cranked up. Yep. I made a lot of people mad. Well, this is kind of the same thing. You might think it's cool, but you're really hurting the industry when you're being rude.
Yeah, and that's why
100%.
I go by the mantra, don't vape where you couldn't smoke.
Yep.
That's how I am also.
I mean, don't vape where you couldn't smoke, and...
Right.
You know, you just don't want to affect anybody the wrong way.
Right.
You turn them off. First impressions are everything. If somebody gets the wrong impression, they're going to slam you.
Yeah.
Bottom line. And
all day long.
That's what happened. We had people that didn't care, which you're always going to have that in a community.
Yeah,
but
people that still do IP theft and people that still make kitty labels and all that crap.
Yeah. And
even though they've been asking us to not do that for 3 years.
I mean, look at Space. You know, I hate to be a broken record player between shows, but look at Space Jam. They changed their labels because they actually took heed to what the government said.
Yeah.
These labels are looking bad.
Yeah. Yep.
And they went ahead flat out changed their labels, and their labels weren't even the bad ones. Yes, they were moderate.
Well, that's what happened in San Francisco. I think is it Candy King
up there
and said this is appealing to our children.
Yep.
And so now they have a flavor ban.
Telling you, a guy in a barbershop today. He saw me vaping before I went in there, and he said, I got something that's going to trip you out. And he shows me this post, and it's a Vita Vape. Vita Vape is what it's called. And it's for kids, and it's supposed to be vitamins that they vape. What in the hell is
Wow.
that?
I've seen the Vita Vape for adults. I haven't.
Yeah, they got a kid in the
children.
post for this, and I'm thinking, are you kidding me? That's just bold. It's not going to do us any good.
Yeah, it does more harm. We spoke about this on the last live show we had. I'd mentioned it, but it does more harm than anything, and it is appealing. It does stand out to the eye, and I don't think it's intentionally marketing to children.
Mm-hmm.
But in the same right, that's how anti-vaping sees it, and they're going to use anything that they can to put us down, and especially anything they can find that involves children, because that's the national plea for help, and that's what they're going to use.
100%, man. 100%. It's horrible. It's horrible. What are we supposed to do?
Yeah.
I mean, it's.
Well, I can just say as far as flavoring goes, smoking is, to me, a worse addiction than drugs as far as trying to quit.
Okay.
So why can't we have some flavor that we like? That's
there's data that says it needs
to have
to be
a device that satisfies you and have a flavor that satisfies you. That's how you put cigarettes down.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's a child thing. That's an adult thing.
I'm with you.
I took a poll in my personal Facebook group that I started. I took a poll about, I don't know, not even a year ago, about what is more appealing to you about vaping? What helps you more, the flavors or the toys, the mods and the devices and whatnot? And 95% of the people said it was the flavors that helped them quit smoking. I know when I started vaping, I was a menthol smoker, and I bought a couple different bottles of menthol juice. And just starting out, coming off the cigarettes, when I would grab that menthol vape, it personally made me want a menthol cigarette more. And I couldn't quit until I actually switched over to the fruits and the dessert flavors. That's when I put the cigarettes down altogether.
Good shit. I mean, good shit, man. I mean, if it's working, right? It's good.
Hey, Steve, I'm going to go ahead and ask you right now, because Julie and I are talking.
Okay.
Vapedom, which is an online community. They have.
What's it called?
Vapedom. The Vapedom. They have a monthly giveaway. Do you think we could do for a line for 4 months of one of the different lines every month for 4 months?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So, Julie, it's not definite, but it's a possibility.
Just tell her. I mean, they just got to get at me, It's pretty simple. If they get at me, what am I going to say? No. Come on. When have I ever said no?
Yeah, because they're the Facebook for vapors. So, and
when have I ever said no?
True, but I wanted to ask first.
I mean, tell them to call me.
Okay, so there you go, Julie. Steve's willing to do that, one line a month. So
just get at it's pretty simple. They just get at me. I'll handle it.
And she said she'd give us a free ad, so we'll do it for Minuteman Vapors and
all of them. Just tell her to get at tell her to text me, email me, whatever she wants to do. She knows how to find me on the website.
Yeah.
Easy.
So, Julie, I'll send you the information over on Vapedom for Steve. So, we'll hit him up.
Yep. Easy peasy, man. Promise you. Simple.
But yeah, guys. Well, like I said, it's getting late tonight, and I'm dead tired because I didn't get home until 9:30 after picking up my little seizures. So, won't we do our sign outs? We'll start with Cheryl, since she is our special guest tonight. So, Cheryl, why don't you go ahead and remind everybody about the committee and everything? So, go ahead.
I want to thank you guys for having me on here tonight and being interested in advocacy in West Virginia. Thank you for your interest. Check out VandaliaMist.com. If you purchased Almost Heaven's flavor, $3 for every bottle goes to the West Virginia vape tax lawsuit that we have going on.
Without a doubt. We will do that.
Okay, Nate?
Yeah, guys, again, thanks for having me on again. It's been my second time. It's always fun. Cheryl, it has been a pleasure meeting you. Yeah, the Vandalia Mist, like she's speaking on, check out Ohms Anonymous, the YouTube channel. Just type in Ohms Anonymous in the search bar, it'll pop up. I actually have a review for the profiles he was just talking about from Vandalia Mist, Almost Heaven. I've got a link in the description also, takes you straight to it. Great company, great people. Cheryl, I personally want to thank you for everything that you guys are doing for West Virginia and for the vape community. It is absolutely awesome. You are doing outstanding work.
Badass, man.
Thank you, guys. And don't forget to stop at Hazy Hollow Vapors and see me.
I'm going to try to get over there sometime. I'm always busy. And just so everybody that is watching this on the replay knows, I did put a link for Almost Heaven as well as the West Virginia Vape Committee on Facebook down in the crotch box. So there is a link down there so that people can go there if they want to be able to take advantage of the $3 to West Virginia Vape Advocacy.
Cool.
So, Steve, why don't you go ahead and do your finals?
My name's Steve, Smiley Liquid, and we make Smiley Liquid, HFS, Minuteman, and Epiphany e-liquid. Find us at SmileyEliquid.com.
Okay, thanks a lot, Steve. And again, I want to thank everybody for coming on. I mean, you know, Cheryl.
I mean, it's cool. Yeah, I can't believe it. I mean, it's great. It's cool. Like, I can't believe it. Cheryl came on. I'm always amazed that you get these people. That's great.
Cheryl was a last-minute thing on Saturday. What was it, Friday or Saturday I messaged you?
I think it was Friday.
All I remember is you had told me message you next week.
What the hell she want to come on ours for? Like, we're not anything special. We're just two punks.
Well, I'm not anything special either. That's the thing. We're all in this together. We all want the same
You're a boss.
thing.
That's right.
But yeah, I had basically messaged her about a week ahead and said, hey, you know, I'd love to give you guys a hand with whatever you need. And then you had said to hit you up the next week, and I'm like, okay. And then I went ahead and hit you up whatever day I messaged you. And then I was
but
like...
you know she's a boss, dude. She's a boss. We know this. Like, we know she's a boss.
All right, Steve, send me samples.
I will, but I mean, that isn't what I'm trying to do with you. I try to do that with other people, but with you, you're a boss. I think it's quite admirable that you actually did it, because no one does it. I mean, I wish they did it, you know, like, it's cool, because nobody does.
Well, hopefully other people will follow. How's that?
I would love it.
That's what I would like to see.
I would love it.
Once again, everybody, every week, 10 p.m., you'll see us. Sometimes we go to 11, sometimes 11:30, sometimes we've actually went to midnight, 1 o'clock. So
yeah. That's usually when I'm on a roll.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Don't forget, guys, use the code NVR Live for 10% off at MinutemanVapors.com.
All day.
Yep, we have all four from Steve as well as Fat Panda, and then
Jen Eldridge.
Yep, and then we have some hardware on there. I really haven't been able to do a ton of hardware because of cost, which I'm sure Cheryl knows. Cost for small businesses, if you can't drop ship, is imagine trying to order one or two things at a time and paying your shipping costs.
Ain't gonna happen.
It's very difficult to stay near online pricing. I keep stuff near online pricing, but I have to pick and choose what I carry. But I do have some new mods, at least one new mod coming in this week from Health Cabin. They are sending me something else here new. So we should have a good influx of stuff coming in for reviews. Sometime this week I will be putting up the PD 2700 or 2070 or 270, whatever it is. I'll be putting it up this week. I'm probably going to go through a lot of my old things I have that I haven't reviewed. Like, I know I haven't reviewed my Mutation X234. I know I haven't reviewed that, so that's going up here soon. I mean, there's a lot of older things that'll be coming up. but hopefully a lot of newer things will be hitting. I do know I have a tank coming from Josh JH Vapes. It'll be hitting the show. So
nice.
There's a lot of things coming on. I paid $6 shipping to get a tank to review, so I'm happy with that.
Good.
But once again, guys, thanks for coming, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, man.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.